Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mindfulness Mastery 888, Real, Raw, and Truthful. I am Tawnya Love, and I'm here with my co-host, Cindy Campbell.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yes. And we were on our walk this morning, and actually this has come up a few times this week, just kind of an idea of what we could talk about for a special holiday session. And basically what came to me was, how do we move through the holidays with consciousness and grace? And so that is what we're going to talk about today. Our goal is to help people really look at their life from a place of empowerment and to see that Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate or whatever traditions you have, that they're just a holiday that has been created to celebrate. And so we want to watch that we're not, in the name of tradition, sabotaging ourselves, having addictive patterns, behaviors, forcing ourselves to be around people or situations that really any other day of the month we would not do. And maybe for some of you, you would do that. And so we're going to help you with that too. So that was kind of what came through. Do you have anything you want to say about that, Cindy, before we kind of just start channeling in messages?
So I'll describe a little bit of what my holiday seasons were like in the past.
Okay.
Because I think I don't want to say typical, but a little probably, right? Chaos, frantically shopping, spending way too much money on presents.
Sometimes maybe money that people don't even have.
Yes. Overeating because I'm stressed and a lot of anxiety.
plenty of crack has been presented on the counter. Because you go to work, you go to family. Here's plenty of drugs right here.
Oh,
sugar.
Yes, everywhere. All the potlucks. Yes, too much food. And then drinking. Now I don't really drink anymore, but back when I did, right, drinking too much, not getting enough sleep, not practicing self-care, just go.
Party.
Yeah.
Stress.
This is the most stressful time of year. And I usually gained about 10 pounds.
Yeah. And then I was saying to Cindy, it's interesting because we'll have all these things that humans put pressure on each other to do through the program, to be over gluttonous, overspending, over giving, overextending, over draining, all of the over. And then we're like, Happy New Year. Let's focus on the brand new you. And it's dude, what if we just don't destroy ourselves in the months of November and December?
Yeah.
And then just keep cruising gracefully every month of the year.
Hey, there's an idea.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I say that because I really observe how the program, I call it, of humanity's program, will have a lot of things presented in the form of tradition. It's the tradition. This is what we do. And a lot of humans don't even question if that makes sense to them now or ever.
Right.
Sometimes as soon as we can even ask the questions, we might realize, dude, this hasn't even made sense to me ever. But I just did it so that mom would be happy, or I did it so dad would be happy, or I did it so grandma wouldn't feel sad and feel like her family doesn't love her, or whatever the reasons people do the things. We like that show, Nobody Wants This. And on that show, it's about Jewish tradition and things. And there's so many things that they're creating unnecessary suffering because of these rigid beliefs. And so no matter where you're born on planet Earth, you've most likely been raised with some kind of program and projection on tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so everybody's going to have their own, and the way they'll relate, in their own ways will be very different depending on where they were raised, where they were brought up. But in general, we all have this in common, that we all have had programming projected upon us. And if it isn't feeling like it aligns with who you really are, you're going to know it because it's going to feel uncomfortable. There's going to be things you might even do to self-sabotage, or things you'll do to project and lash out at others. And so these are where we can find these patterns so that we can live more graceful lives and like not be little demons, you know, not let other people's energy affect us in terrible ways. And then we don't become what we hate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we hated certain things, right? And then one day you're that psychotic mother freaking it out about nobody made the green bean salad. Like it's the end of the fucking world. The green bean salad, you know, which by the way, I think is nasty. But it's, you know, those kind of things where we can look at like how that's affected who we've become because of what we've had pressure put on us to be. And when you really step away from it, if it was just a regular old Thursday of any typical week, you wouldn't give a fuck about this. You would not be behaving this way.
Right.
Kind of crazy, right? If we can really detach and go, we would not be acting like this. So why are we making this so-called special day of celebration a day to act insane?
Good question.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like moving through with consciousness and grace, really in order to even live a life of true grace, we must be conscious. So really, I feel they go together. And you can tell when you are being more conscious because your life is unfolding with grace. Like you do flow with life instead of rigidly attach and grasp and hold and control. And you know what I'm saying? All the things that a lot of humans' worst shadowy selves can come out under these high pressure holidays because of the high pressure put on it, the expectation, the guilt, the obligation, the whole control. And it's the program of a societal program saying it is the time to spend, it is the time to hang out with past loved ones that have wronged you and harmed you, but they're your parents or they're your cousins or whatever. I was saying to Cindy earlier, I was like, if we are healthy, and we were talking to our therapist about, so I've really untethered from this narcissistic, abusive, and controlling ex-boyfriend, or if you're a guy, my ex-girlfriend, whatever, I've released them. And I feel like, you know, I am feeling a lot better. I'm having better boundaries. I'm feeling good about myself. But they just texted me and said they wanted me to hang out with them for the holidays. And I don't really feel like that feels right. I don't think I want to ever see them again. Your therapist, without hesitation, like, well, that is really intelligent. You should definitely not hang out with them. Right?
Right.
Because they were abusive, controlling, narcissists, toxic. But if it's your family, for some reason, we have this double standard insanity of a program that says, yeah, ex that was toxic, scrap the bitch, like bye, like done.
Right.
But not your family.
Right.
It's your family. And then there's this heaviness of like, hang out with the family no matter how they treat you.
Yeah.
I would have to say, and this is where there's a lot of room for awakening in our collective. It doesn't matter if it's a toxic ex, or if it's a toxic dad, if it's a toxic uncle, if it's a toxic aunt. It doesn't matter. If they're a toxic energy that really triggers you and you do not feel safe, loved, supported, or yourself around them, why are you going to spend the day of celebration that you have made yourselves as a collective, right? As humanity, we call it a day of celebration. At least go celebrate with people that actually make you feel safe and that you love yourself around.
Yeah.
And that you feel safe to be yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
That's when it's a true party. But when you go and go, oh, I got to go hang out with all those toxic people because they're my family.
Yeah.
And they drain the fuck out of me. They talk about dumb shit. They don't listen to anything I have to say. They judge me. They shame me. They disgrace me. They dishonor me. I overspend for them. I overextend myself. I do all the things to try to be enough for them. Nothing's ever enough. Why the fuck would you keep doing that every year? And this is why I think there's so many people have addictions and have problems that stem so much deeper. But if we put that pressure to put ourselves around those kind of people, we're sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we've been working on healing for months, like this is someone, I'm talking about someone like you that's been working on healing. There's some people that haven't even been working on healing. They've just been surviving in the rat race of life and like working and busy. And then, oh God, now I'm like exhausted, but now it's time to go hang out with the family.
Yes.
And there's toxic things. And then we wonder why it re-triggers our inner child wounds, why it's re-triggering all this insecurity and self-doubt. And then we're going to go get shit-faced and drink too much and then say all the things that we never had the courage to say. It's all very toxic cycles. And so that would be the opposite of what I'm talking about on how to move through the holidays with consciousness and grace.
It's a way, not a great way.
It is a way to go through the holidays, but it's more of a toxic, get your ass kicked way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I feel like this has, anyone that's guided to listen to this episode, the key things here, the nuggets I'm hoping to share with those who are open and aware enough to receive them, is that you matter and self-love matters and healthy boundaries are fucking vital.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as a soul that went through a lot of abuse with family, that until like I would say like in my 30s, I didn't even understand how to have a healthy boundary. So if any of you listening have no idea what I'm fucking talking about, this is why it's good to work with soul coaches, therapists that you can trust, like, and do your shadow work and look into those inner child healing parts of yourself that need healed. But basically understanding the importance of boundaries is something that will come as you've suffered enough, I'll be honest. And then you start to grasp like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. I should be treated better than this. Like, what am I doing? And that's where you start being more introspective of like, what am I doing that is causing this chaos? Mm-hmm. So like, let's say anybody right now in like 2 months, if they were to talk to me and we asked them honest questions about the holidays, who would really be to blame about how in debt they are, how exhausted they are, the addictions that have been re-triggered, the weight they've gained, the insecurity that they're now trying to process, the overwhelmment in their life that they're now experiencing? Would it be their grandma and their mom and their aunt and their uncle and their business and their work and all the co-workers? No. It would be them that literally chose to go and be beat up during the holidays energetically, right?
Yes.
And so that's why it's so important to be self-aware, because if we don't have boundaries, if we don't know what we really need, then we'll just keep going through this. It's like the merry-go-round of life. We'll keep doing this toxic cycle in the name of tradition.
Yep.
And be mad at everybody, but really we're mad at ourselves too, because we haven't even questioned the insane ride. Like, this ride sucks. I want off.
Yeah.
But if we feel collectively that we all have this pressure to perform and do Thanksgiving and do Christmas in a certain way, or we're not doing it right or enough, or do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's insane. And even like so much stuff happening right now in our country with governmental bullshit and, you know, denying people access to their food assistance and different things. It's going to be hitting a lot of people, and probably already is hitting a lot of people in certain ways. But big picture, this is part of a system that is not there to empower you. So it's also you that keeps yourself dependent on that teat. Like, I need the government teat to suckle on in order to be okay. And then when the government pulls back the milk and then we're upset, it's part of our maturing as humans. In a sense. Now, I have compassion for the situation, but I also can see like everything's happening for us. So it could be happening to help liberate souls, to help them take their power back, to help them find different creative ways to be more empowered in their life. But that being said, like, no matter what's going on, like, you want to be mindful and conscious in your life, because if you end up, you know, doing something stupid to get money to buy a bunch of gifts for people that you don't even like, and then a couple months later you're pissed and there's passive aggressive energy because none of them even appreciated it, or they didn't even get me a present. It's like, that's all you. That's all your creation based on looking for love outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get this love, get this approval, get this sense of belonging outside of myself. Mm-hmm. And especially if you know you're doing it with people that have not been very supportive or healthy. Like, if you have toxic family members and you keep going back to them hoping they're going to save you or something's going to change, it's really setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You want to say anything about that?
I think, yeah, on the buying gifts, like, I think that's where a lot of my overspending came from. And we've talked about this, but which is like,
Witches.
Just
kidding. I'm just kidding. Just the way you said it. Which is.
Just
kidding.
That's funny. Like buying love or showing love instead of like, you know, doing the things that really
to connect.
Yeah, to really connect with these people.
Yes.
And some of these people, there just may not be a connection.
Yes. And sometimes people are desperately attempting to get a connection through these external sources and ways. And it's coming through an attachment. Like we'll attach to things. We have an attachment to people and things and expectations and traditions. It's attachment more so than connection.
Yeah.
And so when we really have genuine connection, it's very obvious. And when it's not there, a lot of humans scurry about attempting to attach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's not love. It's not love for yourself. It's not love for other. It's certainly not enjoyable.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So let's see. Some other things like in holidays, moving with consciousness and grace. So boundaries, I would say, is absolutely vital. And one of the things I was going to say that Cindy and I were talking about earlier is like sometimes you might, like if you're newer to having boundaries, you might not understand yet how to read your own energy to know what is a yes and what is a no. And for me, I've worked with many clients in explaining this, but once you play with it, it really is so innate and natural.
Yeah.
It's just about you listening. It's about the individual going, wow, I can feel what my authentic answer and truth is, but will I say that? That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
I can tell what my answer is. It's an absolute no, but God damn it, if that guilt doesn't sit heavy on my shoulders, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Guiding me and somehow making my throat utter the words yes. How did that just happen? Right. And then we're like pissed immediately or having anxiety or overwhelmment immediately because we've committed to something that should have been a no.
Right. Okay. This reminds me of like the cookie exchange.
Yes.
Right. You got to make your 18 dozen cookies for this cookie exchange. You don't even want the goddamn cookies.
Super fun. This will take your whole weekend where you could have been recovering and enjoying some time alone.
Yes. But you don't want to be the person that says no.
Yeah. So here comes these hard ass cookies.
Yeah.
Or even worse, you're like a perfectionist.
Oh.
And you don't even want to make them.
Yeah.
But you're a perfectionist, so they got to be goddamn amazing, like Martha Stewart level.
Oh, some were.
Yeah.
Yeah, some were legit.
Because you got to make sure all those people that you can't stand appreciate your fucking
That's
cookies.
right. Or that you don't even know. You don't even know probably half these ladies.
Yes.
But I think about like, okay, I always felt like, well, I don't want to say no. But it's like, I could say no. And I bet if I had said like, no, I would love to, but I just need the time for myself. Do you know how many women would be like, oh my God, I can say that? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
And you also, because sometimes, and this is one of the things I'd say if you're new to boundaries for yourself, you don't even have to tell people why.
Right.
It's no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Because if you give them, well, I need to do this or I'm choosing, and then the guilt comes in and you're new, you might just fold in on yourself.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what you're saying. Like as you become more confident in your truth, you'll say your no and you can say why or not. And you're fine either way because you're confident in it.
Yeah.
But yes, having someone that can speak the truth can also inspire others that are listening. Or it can piss them off because it's really just up to their presence, how aware they are. Like, am I able to receive this person and see like what they're sharing with me from a place of inspiration? Or do I take it as an attack Do I take it as something that I need to reform them? I need to save them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because some
Yeah.
souls will just flip out if you told them like you were taking time for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
who do you think you are? Like, none of us get a rest. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be super pissed.
Yes.
But I do agree that a soul that's awake enough could be inspired by that.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody is asking, Cindy and I have talked about this a lot in sessions, like if somebody asks you, like, let's say it's Friday, which it happens to be while
Yes.
we're recording this.
Yes.
Let's say it's Friday and you have a coworker and they're like, in the past, maybe a year ago or something, they helped you move. Right. And it's somebody that your acquaintances, they helped you move once and you appreciated it. It was so helpful. And it's Friday and you are like counting the time down to get home because you are exhausted. You kind of feel your throat's got a tickle, like you might be getting sick, and everything in you knows you need to go home and rest and just have self-love time and no running around, no busyness, peace with yourself, maybe a little walk in the forest. That is what you are excited about. You are celebrating it. It's like 4:38 p.m. and the time is ticking on that. It's like being in school and the bell rings and you're out. And so you know like what you need, you know it. And then here comes this coworker assistant that you kind of know that helped you move like a year ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, Cindy, oh my God, I'm so glad I ran into you because I am really in desperate need of some help this weekend. Do you think you could help me move? Because I'm going to be moving and she's springing it on you right now. Like, and they're moving in the morning at 8 a.m. She needs you there and she wants you to help out and also watch one of her kids. And it's just, as she's talking, it's literally like a nightmare, right? In your energy, like everything is like, holy fuck.
God,
like
this sounds
in
horrible.
Your core, it's like, I'm going to throw up. Like this is like the exact opposite of what I know I need, right? And she keeps talking and she's smiling and she's nice enough and she helped you once.
Yes.
And in your core, everything in you is like, oh fuck no, that's the fucking last thing I need. That is not what I need. And then you're like, huh, okay, sure. Okay, 8 a.m. Got it. And then she walks away and you're like, motherfucker, right?
Totally.
Because this is like what I feel like stereotypical experience is for like people that do not know how to pause and have a boundary and like check in. So have you ever experienced like that kind of thing before?
Similar, maybe. Yes.
Maybe not exactly, but the feeling of somebody needing right when you're like knowing what you need and then you plow it down and betray yourself.
Yes.
Have you ever betrayed yourself and said yes?
A million times. Yep.
So that's what I'm going to share.
Yeah.
So partly because we've coached on this.
Yes.
What would Tawnya say on this? And what have you learned? Like as the person's talking, what could you do that would be in your power where you honor yourself? How could that go?
You would probably say something like, you could say to that person, no, just a flat out no.
Mm-hmm. Like, no, I'm not available.
Yeah. But really to check in with myself. How do I feel? And also to be like, you know what, to tell the other person, like, I need to check in on that.
Yes, that's what I was hoping you'd say, because I've taught this a lot. So that piece, if you're scared to say no right then in their face, because some people, it's a matter of like, they don't want to let people down.
Right.
They're kind of nervous to even stand up for themselves. And this is something I hope will change for humans one day, because it's so important so that we're not just passive aggressive little freaks on planet Earth, that keep saying no to the things that should be yes and yes to the things that should be no.
Yeah.
It just leads to really unhealthy, toxic cycles. But like one of the things I've said with Cindy and many is that if somebody came just like that and they're like, bam, 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 they're right in your face. They kind of are doing that on purpose because they kind of really are desperate for help.
Yes.
And that's why they're asking you last second, because they probably had something else fall through. And they're like, oh, Cindy's that nice girl. She'll say yes,
Yep.
So they come in, putting you on the spot. And maybe they're not doing it on purpose, but I think sometimes people are that way. I'm just kind of putting out that it could be either way. But someone puts you on the spot, they're saying the stuff, and I feel it's so wise to teach us healthy boundaries and to assert that power in our healthy boundaries to, no matter what it is, even if it's something you're like, fuck yeah, I want to do that. But to say, you know what? Let me meditate on that. Or that would be the way I would say it.
Yeah.
Let me meditate on that. Or if you don't want to say that you're meditating, or that isn't even what you think of it as being, you could say, let me check in and I'll get back to you. Some people, if anybody's got a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, or a husband, they've used each other in this way.
Yes.
I'm going to have to ask my wife.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's funny
no.
because if they wanted to do something, they don't even ask the wife. They're like, oh, I told the boys. I said, well, you didn't even ask me. Right? So it's like you can, basically it's just knowing a way to pause it and go, you know what, let me get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
I got to check in. And you could even say, let me just check my schedule and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure. Because sometimes I'll authentically feel like I might have something going on, but let me get back to you.
Yeah.
Right? That gives you space to pause. People that are manipulators will immediately push on you to get an instant answer.
Yeah.
And that's teaching you a lot. That's helping you realize who people are in your life that respect you,
mm-hmm.
respect your boundaries, and who are people that are pushy and controlling.
Yeah.
So if somebody responds with a more pushiness, no, I need an answer now. Then the answer is no. Right?
Yeah, right.
Because nobody should be pushing on you. If you've ever been to a car lot to look at cars and someone's pushing on you to buy today, it's that feeling, and they are manipulating you. They want you to make that decision right now.
Yes.
Because it's going to benefit them.
They don't want you to think about it.
They don't want you to think about it.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the answer might be no. And their whole thing is to control the situation and get the money, right?
Yeah.
So same thing with a woman needing help moving, or she needs you to make 18 dozen cookies.
Right.
Oh, Cindy, do you think you can make 18 dozen of those really yummy cookies you made one time? And you're just like, holy fuck, no. If you can't have the courage yet, and I'm going to say yet, because the more people work with me, I see them get more courage.
Yes.
Because they start to realize, dude, I can say my truth always. Mm-hmm. Why am I procrastinating it? But when you're new to boundaries, it's just like a graceful stepping stone of it, to where it's like, maybe you struggle to say no. And if you know that about yourself, at least say, let me get back to you. I got to check in. And then find your way that you can do that and get back to them. If you feel like talking to them on the phone is going to totally sabotage you and they're going to plow you over and still get you to do it, text them a message or send them an email. Like, oh, okay, I went and I was checking in on my schedule and I actually realized I do not have time for that this weekend, but I am sending you love. And I know this is a beautiful, big supportive universe and the perfect helpers are out there. And I trust that they will find you. Yeah. And if you really know that in life, because it's true, it is that way. But some people also have a thing in their ego that really wants to be savior and they want to believe that no one else could help as good as they could. That's something we got to see in ourselves, because we'll overextend ourselves. We'll overdo if we think we're the only ones that can do it.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God, yes.
So just things to be conscious of, like pausing, let me get back to you. If I encourage authentic truth and courage, but I also know when souls aren't there, it's important to have the pause. Mm-hmm. Once you do have that confidence in yourself and you've gotten better, that might be the next initiation for you, is like, what are you going to say? You know that's a goddamn no, right? You know that's a no. It's so a no that you're cussing in your mind as you smile at them in how no it is, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're having an actual conversation while you smile like, oh, fuck no.
You're like,
right?
Oh, fuckity fuck no.
Yes, exactly. And so it's kind of, that would be a place for that soul to open that throat chakra and speak their truth. And it might just be yeah, that's a no. I'm not available for that. But I do wish you the best on that working out. Wait a minute, but I did this for you, or I'm blah, blah, blah. Or if you loved me, you know, I've had this with like exes that want to meet up, you know, that recently, like meet up. They want to meet up for lunch or something and give me some awkward hug and try to see if they could get some spying information on my life. And maybe sabotage something. And I got to a point where I was like, dude, I have been so compassionate of a person for you to show you friendship. And I do not feel like you give a shit about me or my boundaries. So it's a no. And then you'll learn a lot about people, as I did. Like, oh, we're going to throw a tantrum now. Now we're going to call you names. We're going to be mean to you because you actually are having a boundary with yourself.
Yeah.
So I say this as a person who definitely has to have boundaries with people and who has experienced some handle it more gracefully than others and some just be absolute terrorists about it. But regardless, I always feel really authentic and good when I speak my truth.
Yeah.
No matter what the outcome. Some people are going to hate your boundaries. Some people are going to love your boundaries. Some people are going to be fucking inspired by your boundaries. It's going to help them see that they could do that for themselves. So just let it fall where it falls. Let some be triggered, some be inspired. But getting through the holidays with grace, boundaries.
Yeah.
Absolutely vital.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that? And then we'll probably end this one and come back because it's 3:33 and we've been going for 30 minutes. So we'll pause here in a minute. Do you want to say anything on that before we pause?
No, we can go ahead and pause this session and come back.
Okay, so we'll be right back for a part 2. And thank you guys. And one thing that we would love in the holidays, just a request, is that you take time to share our content with your loved ones. So if you have relatives or friends or family that are really difficult people to be around, one thing you can do is just, I found this really cool podcast and it's got a lot of helpful information. I just was thinking of you and thought it would maybe help you in your life, and send it along. And that helps us, supports what we're doing, and it also helps get the messages to those that really can benefit from them. Yeah. So we're going to leave on that note and we will be right back.